6 surprising behaviors that create a loss of attraction with a woman. In this video, I'm going to be discussing with you guys important concepts starting from the moment you go up and talk to a girl all the way into the first date, the dating and courtship, and even long-term dating towards the end of this video. So the first 2 concepts I'm going to be talking about are steered around the initial interaction with the girl. Then we're transitioning to point number 3, where I'm going more into date 2, date 3, transitioning into long-term dating and how I really fucked up this concept. I really wish I understood point number 3 when I first started dating my current girlfriend. And then in the second half of this video, when we get into points 4, 5, and 6, we're going to be transitioning into long-term dating, keeping the attraction high, and all the places I messed up in my own relationship. This video is very real, raw, and deep, especially in the second half of this video. A lot of subtle, nuanced concepts I haven't seen talked about in any other YouTube video. So guys, watch this video in full. There's a lot of fucking gems in this one, okay? And the final point, number 6, is probably the most controversial, most shocking topic of them all. But I do, again, talk about my own experience. So I'm really excited to jump into this one. So let's get into point number 1, which is being friends with a woman. But it's not just being friends. You can technically be friends. It's more about being friends. The shocking behavior isn't just being friends with a woman. It's more about not displaying confidence and success with women while you're hanging out with that girl. Now, this can be done directly or indirectly. On the most obvious level, I think the way most of you guys would perceive this is just being able to flirt with the girl early on. And that's kind of obvious, right? Like being able to create a man to woman vibe, being able to be flirty, display intent. That's kind of obvious. However, that's not necessarily what I'm talking about here, because I know a lot of dudes that are friend zoned with women, or they hang out with girls, but they're not getting those girls. And they're wondering, how do I get out of the friend zone? And the main problem I see with nice guys who get friend zoned with women is that they don't know how to create attraction directly or indirectly, meaning the way they communicate, the way they talk to that girl, the stuff that they have going on in their own life, it does not directly or indirectly display to that girl that they're friends with, I'm confident and I'm successful with women. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about my own relationship. I'm in a 4-year relationship right now. However, me and my girlfriend were actually friends for a very long time before we ever started hooking up with each other. All right, we were actually best friends. I would even argue like we were very, very good friends for about 3, 4, 5 months before we ever started getting with each other. And it wasn't that I was stuck in the friend zone with this woman. And it wasn't like I deliberately friend zoned her either. The reality was that we actually hung out in a social circle, but I had a lot of women that were already attracted to me. We would go out. She would see me literally going out and picking up girls. We would even talk on the phone about the dude that she was hooking up with. And I would talk about my last vacation that I went on with the girls that I was getting with. Now, you don't necessarily need to go to that level. I think that's kind of extreme in the one direction, but that absolutely can work for a variety of different reasons. It's conveying pre-selection. It shows that you're actually successful with women. It also shows that you're not so concerned with getting this girl. So it is a great strategy to indirectly game a girl and create attraction. Again, it doesn't mean that you need to have all of these women in your life. That's one way that you can do this and keep the attraction high. The other polar opposite is just going up and having a direct approach on the girl where you're flirting directly with her and you're making it man to woman and you're setting up a date. Both of those can work, but there's also this middle ground that isn't really too commonly talked about, where you don't necessarily need to have a bunch of women around, but in conversation with the girl, she needs to know just from your look, your vibe, the way you talk, the stories you tell, the lifestyle you have, your online presence. This dude gets fucking women, I can tell. And the girls can really tell, okay? They can really, really tell. The deeper I get into coaching, the more experience I have. I can just look at a dude and his mannerisms, his looks, the way he talks, the way he communicates, his nonverbals. All of these elements start to create this image in my mind about how successful this dude is. And the girl is categorizing you the same fucking way. Now, again, it is very powerful if you have women around you that are kind of visually proving that to the girl. But another subtlety is just the way that you're interacting with the girl. Okay, so for number 1, there's a variety of different ways that you could either directly or indirectly display to the girl that you are a dude who's confident and successful with women. And the problem that I see that dudes are doing wrong is they're playing it so safe. I have guys that tell me, we hung out a couple times, conversation was great, everything was going well. And I'm just thinking like, dude, I could just tell by the way you're talking, you just had a very, very friendly talk and you're a very nice guy. And I bet the conversation was friendly, and the girl was talking, But after 1, 2, 3 times of hanging out with her that way, if it's not growing in that direction, or if the success or confidence with women isn't being displayed and you guys are actually friends and hanging out that way, then this thing's gonna die one way or another. So what you can't do is just be the polite gentleman that doesn't want to appear thirsty. I don't want to come off too much like a fuckboy, Kyle. I don't want to come off too thirsty. Look, I'm not telling you to come off like a fuckboy. I'm not telling you to be thirsty, but I'm telling you, if it's not moving in any one of these directions and it's just a super pleasant thing and you're just like this nice guy, you don't have charm or like that sexual charisma around you, and it's obvious, you know if that's you, man. You know if that's you. If you don't have that, after you've hung out with the girl multiple times, you're already starting to get categorized a certain way. All right. And there's a lot of different things you can do to change that. I was never that guy either. A lot of the dudes I work with aren't that guy either, but we get men success like this. So you need to evaluate, where are you at on the spectrum and which direction are you doing this? Because if you're too nice, where are you at on the spectrum and what do you need to do to start moving things in the right direction? Because there's going to be this ongoing theme in this video, guys, especially once I get into point 3, when we're talking more about leading, and point 4, point 5, more long-term seduction. There's this recurring theme that if it's not growing and you're not the one moving it forward, it's inevitably dying, all right? You can't just be passive and not do these things. Now let's move into number 2. Now, before we get into the more advanced, more long-term concepts and my failures as well, I want to talk about point number 2, which is not having a good online presence or not having an Instagram. And this might piss some people off, but let me explain this, guys. It's 2024. 99% of the women out there are on social media. All right. It's the biggest dating app that's out there, and it's only getting bigger. And I'm not saying that you need to use IG to meet women, but understand that Instagram is a very reliable source that girls like to go to evaluate a dude. It's literally a digital resume at this point in terms of dating. It's the closest thing you could have to showing the girl honest signals about who you are as a dude. As I'm saying this, you're like, I don't want to do that stuff. Okay, can you still get success without it? Yes, but you're at a fucking disadvantage, man. It's becoming more and more important, and it doesn't take that much work. I'm not telling you to be on there all the time. I'm just saying you could get a camera or one of the new iPhones and just take a decent amount of pictures. Do it in one day, bang it out if you really need to get a nice profile set up to show the girl who the fuck you are. An Instagram profile can either massively boost the girl's attraction towards you, or it can make her feel the opposite about you, believe it or not. If you've ever gotten a girl's Instagram and you went home, or it was the next day and you went to look at her Instagram, if the pictures of the girl were better than you remembered, your memory of her now is higher up. You actually get excited. You might even screenshot the best picture and send it into your group chat, or show your boy the girl that you were talking to last night. And now the image and the idea of this woman is enhanced. People get more and more attracted to somebody long-term, not when they're with them, but the idea of that person. Okay, it's kind of fucked up, but it's just a reality. And so it's also the opposite. If you ever got a girl's Instagram and you went home and maybe you were like on the fence about the girl and you look at her Instagram and it's actually lower than what you thought about her, it's actually going to slightly hinder the memory that you have of her, the perceived value you have of her. And guys, the girl is doing this the exact same way that you would too. And honestly, guys, I've been in Miami for a couple of weeks now. I've been going out pretty much on a daily basis, talking and approaching women. And I could honestly say there's a lot of women I've been in interactions with. We're only a couple minutes into the interaction and the girl's asking me for my Instagram. And she's not doing it as a, can you get away? Yeah, just take my IG instead. No, I don't. Phone numbers. Are you on Instagram? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a girl that is attracted to me. I'm in the interaction. The conversation is still going and we're about to actually go on an Insta date. And she's asking, are you on IG? They want reassurance, man. They want to see who the fuck you are as a person because you're a stranger and it's the digital age. And as a dude, if you don't have decent photos set up, it's fucking concerning. I would actually be concerned. You're a cool dude. You're a high value dude, but yet you have no photos and no following. That's really fucking sketch, honestly. Any dude I know that's really successful, or the dudes that are on my level or even fucking higher than my level, or even a couple levels lower than me, they're on Instagram to some extent and they position themselves properly because high value people understand the trends that are going on in society and the importance, the increasing importance of having a presence, building a brand, and showing that you're a normal, cool dude that has a decent lifestyle going on. Again, you don't need to be on it all the fucking time. I hate Instagram personally, but I am aware of what's going on in the world and what women want and what people respond to. And that's why I'm telling you this too. If you don't have a good Instagram, if you don't have a good social media presence, it's hurting you. It's creating a loss of attraction, or it's creating a loss of potential attraction that could be boosting you up. The final part that I'll say about social media is that if you get a girl's number and then you leave, 1, 2, 3, 4 days goes by, that girl doesn't remember who the fuck you are. I know for some of you dudes, if you've been talking to the girl and she's like one of the hottest girls you've connected with, you're probably still thinking about that girl and you're trying to text her and you're trying to think about the perfect message to craft to her to get her back into you. I can promise you guys, 1, 2, 3 days goes by, she barely fucking remembers you. I don't care how good you ran the interaction. I've been running good interactions on a daily basis right now, and I don't even remember some of the girls I've talked to 2, 3, 4 days ago at this point, because there's just so much stimulus going on. There's so much going on in my own life, and a hot girl has the same fucking shit going on in her life, probably more than what you have going on, all right? And so if you could have a good Instagram, instead of just being a random number in her phone that is correlated to a text message, to an interaction that happened 4 days ago, it's a lot better of lead nourishment if she just goes to your Instagram and just sees you're that guy. And you don't even need to be posting on your story every day, but just having that fucking digital resume really boosts the girl's memory of you, okay? It really, really does, because you can actually indirectly convey a lot about your personality, your charisma, your success, your social circle. If you position yourself properly, it really does convey a lot, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. I could rant about Instagram and social media. I can make a whole course on it. I could be the social media guy if I wanted to in terms of pickup and dating. I don't want to take that route. There are dudes out there that only promote, hey, position yourself on IG, message a lot of people, send out invites, post all this shit. And there's validity to that. There's reasons that guys are making careers off of doing that and get a lot of success off of doing that. I'm not saying to do all of that, but what I am saying is you got to wake up and you got to take this shit a little bit more seriously. On the most simplistic, practical level, if you're going out, you're having fun, you're a good looking dude, give somebody the phone and have them take a couple pics of you while you're out. You don't need to do a full-fledged photo shoot every 2 months, but take a couple pics every time you're out. Get in the habit of doing that. It really goes a long way. And then once you have it set up, just set it and forget it, all right? It will absolutely work in your favor. So these first two concepts will help maintain and actually build attraction with a girl you've been starting to talk to, and maybe you've already gone on a date or you guys are hanging out. Now I want to talk a little bit about what's going on when you start dating the girl and how it builds up from there, and where I have fucked up massively in my own relationship right now. Yes, my current relationship, I've had to go back and fix multiple times, which I will get into in step 4 and step 5, and even a little bit of concept number 3 right now when we're talking about leading. So let's get into surprising behavior that can create a loss of attraction if you're not doing it properly, which is leading the girl, okay? Not leading the girl creates a loss of attraction. It's gonna actually go down, but again, it's a recurring theme of this video. If it's not growing, it's fucking dying. You need to understand that. And when it comes to leading, it's the exact same thing. So I've talked a lot about if you're on the date with a girl, obviously it's important to lead. You should be moving the girl around to different locations. You should be communicating with decisiveness and certainty and confidence about what's going on the date, in your day-to-day. And ideally, even on date 2, 3, 4, 5, as you're getting to know each other more, you can start to even guide the girl potentially a little bit in her own life. And she's starting to get more and more comfortable following you. She's not yet supporting you or nurturing you that much, but it may start around date 2, date 3, date 4, date 5. If you guys have already started getting intimate, you're hanging out a lot, the girl's really liking you, you'll see subtle signs that she wants to instinctively take care of you more. She might start cleaning up a little bit around the house. She might start bringing you food. As you start dating her into month 1, month 2, month 3, she might start cleaning up around the house a little bit more. She might actually give you grooming advice, fashion advice. Like my girl actually helped me enhance my look when we started going from like month 3 to month 5 to month 6, all the way into like month 12. She actually helped me with a lot of those things. So the deeper you go into this, the more of a supportive, nurturing role the woman plays. Obviously, she's not going to do that on the first date that much, but you can, as the dude, if you're leading and guiding her and she's starting to get more comfortable and she starts to get confidence in following you, you'll find that as she goes deeper into her feminine, she actually becomes more of that supportive, nurturing role, which is what feminine energy is, guys. They're there to receive, literally, they're there to receive your semen, and then they nourish the seed and build it up and grow that thing into a person. Even on a biological level from nature, they're designed to follow you and support you and nurture you. So on a micro level, it starts from the moment you see the girl, talking with downward tonality, having certain level of confidence, leading the girl around, being the one proactively that's escalating while making sure she feels comfortable. On a more mid-game level, it's guiding the girl. It's being decisive in the dating dynamic and the courtship and structuring out what the week looks like for even you and the girl. And this is where I have fucked up in my own relationship. And this actually ties into point number 5. This is like a micro part of point number 5. But what happened when I first started dating my girl was that we were spending a lot of time together and I wasn't leading us in any one direction. In my defense, it was actually like in the middle of COVID, so a lot of shit was like closed down. But we were spending a lot of time together, not doing too much because we were in like this honeymoon phase and everything was going really good. And I was enjoying the whole thing. But at the same time, I wasn't commanding and leading and guiding the relationship dynamic in a certain direction. And a lot of times we would just kind of hang out and just kind of like chill and do our thing, but it wasn't really moving in any one direction. And yes, we were into fitness, we were into diet, we were healthy, but I didn't have a set routine going on in my day or my week. And so when we would hang out, we would spend like a weekend together, like 48 hours straight, where I didn't actually clear out time and say, hey, I'm going to be doing this, and this during this time. I need to handle this. I need to handle this. If you want to do this with me at this point, please, by all means, come here with me on this time. And then like nighttime, let's actually go on a fucking date and let's do that. And that's what it's going to look like for Saturday when we hang out. I wouldn't do any of that. We would just kind of chill. And just like as if you're hanging out with your boy, you're just hanging out like, yo, let's just fucking chill. Even though it seems cool because it's early on in the dating and you got all these good emotions with the girl. You guys are having sex, you're hanging out, you're having a lot of fun. It seems good in that moment, but you got to understand the dynamic that you're actually creating long-term is not optimal. It's not bad. Like the girl will actually still like you. And my girlfriend ended up falling in love with me and stuff and everything was great, but it's not optimal. It's not the highest level of attraction, compliance, admiration, and respect that you could create in the dating dynamic. And if this sounds a little confusing to some of you guys, it sounds a little like, I don't know, red pilly for some of you dudes, that's okay. I'm just talking about from my own experience because I've been through this phase in the relationship. I've been the guy that fell for the girl. We were in this lovey-dovey phase for a long time and everything was good. Everything was great. But you need to understand that that's only going to take you to a certain level long-term as a man. And if that's the path you want to go, that's okay. Some of you dudes may actually just want to do that. I just want a girl who genuinely likes me and we hang out all the fucking time. But I promise you long-term, like if I were to look down the road, eventually the attraction's going down. It doesn't mean you're going to break up. It just means it's not optimal. You don't have the highest level of respect. The girl doesn't genuinely admire you, like really, really admire you. And the compliance isn't as high as it could be. And that's why I'm saying if it's not growing and it's not peaking and it's not optimal, the potential attraction is not anywhere as high as it could be. And that's what I mean by not leading this thing, not creating structure, not putting the girl into that structure and not having that in place will result in it just kind of going in this direction that you guys both want to go. It's like if you're not leading it, then by default, it's being led in a slightly different direction. And honestly, if you're trying to be a really high level dude, you're going to need to do it this way. Like as I've leveled up as a man, as I've grown my business, as I want to put more time into this, as my work ethic has gone up, as I put more attention into my fitness, my routine, my team itself, everything. The more that I have a demand for these things and fulfilling my purpose and my passion, the more I realize there's no way I could have done all of that with that other dynamic that I initially created. And that's really what I'm talking about here, guys, is that in the moment, it doesn't seem like a big deal because it's technically not. But when you get to higher and higher and higher levels, there's more that's commanded of you. And when you're really trying to serve your highest purpose, the path that you've kind of created with the girl, the foundation that you created, that one is not aligned with what needs to be done to really, really become that top 0.1% of men. And it's okay if you're going through that. Like I fucked this up, you could still fix it. You don't necessarily need to break up or anything. It's something that you can slowly evolve into as you level up as a dude. But I do feel like this is worth stating because it's something that I've gone through my whole relationship. I fucked this up in the first 1 to 2 years and I've kind of tweaked the dials as I continue to level up and go into my mid-30s right now. And it's something I don't really see too many people talking about on YouTube. So I wanted to like give my own insight into this thing because really it's something dudes in their 20s and their 30s need to be aware of. You guys, eventually, if you're studying this stuff and you're learning to attract higher quality women, eventually you're gonna meet that girl you really like and you need to know this shit, dude. I promise you, nobody told me this. Nobody told me this shit, so you need to know this as well, all right? Side note, if you want to actually attract your dream girl and you want to become that guy, the dude I'm talking about, the top 1% of man, level the fuck up in these areas, click the link in the description, book out a consultation call so I can help you achieve that. It's almost like a car. You have your foot on the gas, and if I'm not steering it in the direction I want, this car's gonna fucking go wherever the hell it goes. And occasionally I think dudes are like trying to go in a direction, but you're not really leading this thing. And then also where I have fucked this up long-term dating and how I've been slowly fixing that within my own relationship. Okay, super valid point, man. Point number 3 alone is like a fucking, really is a gem, honestly. Let's move into point number 4, because we're only halfway through this video, man. I'm here to fucking over-deliver for you guys. Let's move into point number 4 that actually creates a loss of attraction if you're doing this, which is the idea of TV, movies, video games, and just kind of like chilling, all right? And this kind of ties into everything I was talking about in point number 3, but all of these things go hand in hand when it comes to really creating high levels of attraction with women. Now, can you watch TV? Can you watch movies? Can you play video games? Yes, you can. But you do this shit too much, guys, and it slowly is going to create a loss of attraction. It ties into point number 3, which is like, you're the leader, dude. The girl ultimately is going to be following you. So I want every single person, if you're watching this video, you're the leader. You're an influencer. Some of you guys are just really shit leaders and shit influencers, but understand that we're all the same. I am no different than you. We are all the same. We are all, to some extent, leaders in our own life. And if you're going to be with a girl and you start dating that girl and you want to keep attraction high, or you don't want to lose attraction, you need to demonstrate to her that she should be with you on a daily fucking basis, man. Kyle, when do I get to a point where the girl doesn't test me? The girl will continue to test because women need to test for congruency and value, and it's part of their survival mechanism. Just imagine you were the girl, right? You're gonna be with somebody, but biologically speaking, you need to consistently check in to make sure that that person, that whoever you're following, is gonna lead you to survival, not only survival, but also the highest level of life. And so once you understand the female's perspective, it makes sense why they would consistently test a man, because they want to know that they're with the right man. They want to know that, hey, even though I was with this guy initially, I want to make sure long-term that we're still aligned and I'm in a good position. The baby is in a good position to survive and thrive. So I need to constantly check in on that. And that's what testing really is. When the girl tests you big time and is giving you massive shit tests or starting fights, you understand why that is, guys? It's because you're fucking failing tests. So just imagine you were part of a tribe and the leader was watching TV, playing video games, watching movies all day, just on his fucking ass, fat piece of shit, not doing anything. Would you really have a high level of respect or admiration for the leader of that tribe? Fuck no, you wouldn't. And let's just say he did it a little bit, but you feel like you actually outworked the king or the leader of that tribe, right? At some point when he would be giving you commands, or trying to lead you, you wouldn't be able to help but think, I don't know if I actually agree with his decision. You know why that is? Because you're actually putting in more work than he is. And you look at him and you think physically, well, I'm actually stronger than him. I've been working harder than him. I feel like I've been spending more time studying than him. I have the potential to make more money than him. And his communications, shit, I feel like I actually could create more influence than him. As that happened more and more, eventually, if he gave you a command that you disagreed with, you would feel the need to challenge him at some point. Assuming that he wasn't going to just kill you, right? But it's modern day now. So like knowing that we're not going to just die, you would most likely challenge the authoritative figure. And it makes sense why you would do so because there's evidence supporting why. And so when you understand these concepts, now we're starting to see why you need to be the leader, why you need to be the person of influence, and why you need to be on your fucking shit, man. Is it clicking in your fucking head yet? You need to be on your shit. And eventually, guys, it'll get to a point where you don't want to do anything other than be on your shit. And that's what I've noticed in my own transformation as I've gone from my 20s into my 30s. It's like, I've just decided like, this is the guy I want to be. I feel better when I'm doing the uncomfortable things that I want to do. It feels better to do the uncomfortable thing than it does to not do it and stay in the comfort zone. It literally feels better doing the uncomfortable thing. I have to say it again. I'll say it a fucking third time. It feels better when you're doing the uncomfortable things consistently. You feel better about yourself. Life is better. You walk around with a higher sense of self-worth. And I promise you, when you're talking to women, that bleeds off. Even in the initial pickup, do you really think if a girl gives me some kind of like shit test about who I am or my identity right now, you think I'm going to crumble into her frame? Why would I? It doesn't make sense. because I have so much evidence that I've created within my own life about me being this guy, me doing the things I know that I'm going to do, me putting in the uncomfortable work that most people aren't doing. So when you test me, yeah, I can sit there with a fucking stone cold face and a little bit of a smirk and look the girl dead in her eyes and be like, yeah, I'm really that fucking guy. And it hits so hard because it's just the truth. They test for the congruency and I'm like, yes, this is congruent. It's aligned. And if you guys are watching at home, maybe some of you guys even feel that way as you're talking into the camera. You might listen to some of my content and you're like, I really like the genuine, real, raw vibe that you have. I feel like you have that confidence. And yes, it comes off in the communication, but it's nothing more than consistently putting in the work and doing the things that make me uncomfortable. I don't want to make a fucking YouTube video every day, or at least I didn't want to until I did it every day. And now I feel like I fucking love doing this and I'm operating at my highest level and putting out as much value to the world as possible. I almost get off on fucking doing it now. All right, I'm in my highest flow state when I'm in some of these videos sometimes. Not every video, but I make sure that I'm consistently putting in the work. Now, to tie this back into the point though, well, Kyle, do you watch TV? Do you watch movies? I do. Actually, I watched the movie last night. Project Almanac. It's actually a pretty good movie. Surprisingly, I never watched that movie. But when I'm watching movies, I'm not just like fucking stoned off my ass eating junk food either. I'll watch one movie every so often when it's earned at the end of a fucking 16-hour day where I crushed the fucking day. I got my social interaction and I record my content for the day. I did the uncomfortable thing. I took my sales calls. I put out the content. I helped the clients. I made sure I gave love back to the world, my girlfriend, my family. I did all of the things I needed to do for the day. And now I can appreciate putting in a little bit of time into watching a TV show or a movie. Side note, I'm not too big into TV shows because I feel like it is a really long thing and I just don't like to consume that much. And if I'm addicted to a TV show, I'm gonna have a tendency of just watching the whole show. I don't like doing that. I like to watch movies that are like less than 2 hours long because I can just watch it and just be done with it. And then I don't need to be like glued or addicted to the thing. I have a very addictive personality. All right, so that's just some personal preference too when it comes to TVs and movies. Video games I gave up a really long time ago. I was addicted to World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Halo 3. I played that shit obsessively in my teenage years. I spent more time building the video game character of my life than I did my own character. I pretty much went to school, I actually slept at school, and then I would come home and just play World of Warcraft for like 12 to 16 hour days. And I had literally like 200 something days played on my video game character. Now I take my real life character and I'm addicted to building that character up. And the final piece to this too is that when the girl sees that you're working hard and you're not just fucking off playing video games, she knows you're on top of your shit, you're disciplined, you're consistent with this stuff. When you finally do actually take some time to watch a movie with her or hang out with her, it's actually a lot more appreciated from her perspective as well. When I'm constantly working, but I finally make that time to hang out with my girl and do that thing, now that's a moment we can actually appreciate because it's a rare thing. It's a scarce commodity. When it's always there, and this is going to tie into the final point that I talk about in point number 6, but when it's always there, it's really hard to crave or desire the thing. You can't crave or desire something that is always fucking there, guys. And you could do it a little bit on your own time and then also say a little bit with your girl, but don't make it a nightly thing by any means, all right? Most of the time you should be studying. A lot of you dudes fuck off too much watching TV, video games, movies. You should put half of that time into a skill set, man. Get in my paid program if you need to. Watch the live calls that I'm running on my inside of my paid programs. That shit will change your fucking life. My YouTube alone probably will change your life. But really, if you could just connect yourself to like-minded dudes and hear my philosophy going on for hours a day, that's going to change your fucking life. Watching movies has nothing to enhance your mindset. And when I watch a movie, by the way, guys, what I'll do is I'm trying to watch it from an abstract perspective. I can still appreciate the movie or the TV show, but I'm also analyzing the character development. I'm paying attention to the way they tell the story. I'm paying attention to the plot line. I'm paying attention to the main character in the movie, the way he moves, the way he talks, his response time, his admirable qualities, his attractive qualities, and like maybe the more beta qualities that he might have as well, and the dynamic between the people. So watch movies, but don't just watch movies with an unconscious mind where you're just kind of trying to disconnect and you're stoned off your ass eating junk food, low frequency. I can appreciate the movie, but I also am still somehow absorbing and learning simultaneously when it comes to storytelling, plotline, character development, communication. I'm just obsessed with this shit. So that's actually a beneficial way that I could watch a movie periodically. So that's point number 4 and how this can also lower the girl's attraction. Okay, so that's number 4. Now I want to talk about point number 5, which also ties into these same concepts. 3, 4, and 5 are very similar when it comes to leading and spending time with a girl and your work ethic, and how to just become that high value dude. This is the path that I've been on over the last couple years. And that's why I feel like I'm really tapped into this topic, because it's very relevant in my own life. So surprising behavior number 5 that can actually lower her attraction towards you is she's working equally as hard as you, or even worse, she's outworking you. And this ties into the previous points that I was talking about, is that if you're the leader and the girl's going to be following you, and she's supposed to be admiring you and respecting you and being compliant to you, why would she be so attracted to a dude and have blind trust in following a dude that she's actually smarter than, makes more money than, is working harder than? It doesn't fucking make sense. And so there are these one-off cases where you could get away with this in relationships, guys. I'm not saying that this is like the absolute only way to do this, but I promise you, if you show me any relationship where the girl is like winning in those elements, if you were to flip the dynamic, there would be more attraction, there would be more respect, there would be more admiration. You can get away with it, but I promise you it's higher when the dude is really that fucking guy on all levels. And it ties back into the same analogy I was talking about earlier, but about you being in a tribe and you're outworking the king. You feel like you could make more money. You feel like you have more influence than him. You have better communication than him. Like, if you had these elements with somebody that you were supposed to be following, why would you have respect and compliance for that person? Aside from maybe the only reason that I mentioned earlier is that in a tribe, if you went against the king, they would actually kill you. So that's the only reason. But again, we're in modern day now, guys, and you need to understand from the woman's perspective, if the only reason she's with you is she has some emotional investment in you, and that's why she's kind of tied to you, okay, that means that the comfort and connection is there. But again, it confirms the point that the attraction has been going further and further and further and further down. All right, so this is, again, it's a wake-up call, guys. It's a wake-up call that you need to be on your shit. And if this is triggering some of you dudes about like, man, guys don't have it fucking, if this is triggering you about like girls just have it easier than guys, why does it need to be this way? It's a good fucking thing, because if you're watching this video, there's only about like 0.1% or 1% of dudes who even have this mindset or understand this philosophy. So automatically you're separated from the masses, and you actually have the advantage now knowing, hey, 99% of dudes aren't going to take this route. As long as I'm on this route, I'm going to fucking win and crush it and shit on pretty much every other dude. Every dude I know that meets a woman, they end up start dating, they fall into these tendencies. And I can say that with certainty because I myself do this too. I have fallen into these things. I am fixing these things in my own relationship. It's happened to me. It probably will still even happen to you. But that's why I'm educating you right now, so you can become aware of this and fix these things long-term, guys. You stay in the relationship and you work through these things. You don't just say, oh, I fucked this up and now the relationship's done. Being in a relationship is really powerful because you can stay in the relationship with the girl and work on these skill sets and build yourself up while going through the relationship. And now look, if it doesn't work out long-term, it's all good. But either way, you're building yourself up throughout that relationship. So by the end of it, if the girl even ends up leaving, which if you're doing these things right, she's not going to, but let's just say it didn't work out. I'm not in a position now where I'm back at rock bottom. I have clients that come into my program and they're like, yeah, I just got out of a 6-year relationship, trying to get back out there into the game. It's been a long time. I want to get more like you. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, I've been in a relationship the same amount of time you have, bro. Why the fuck is your life going to shit and mine's going up? It has nothing to do with the relationship. Let that sink in. It has nothing to do with the relationship. That's not the reason you went to shit. You went to shit because you weren't leading in the relationship. You let the girl do whatever the fuck you wanted. You weren't doing points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I'm talking about in this fucking video. And now it's at a point where the girl is fed up. The girl was testing you. I mean, she was just a bitch. She wasn't the girl I fucking met initially. It's like, no, pussy. Like, you actually fucked this up so far that she kept testing you and started being a bitch, and she lost faith in you as the leader, which you gave her good reason to. And now it's at a point where the relationship is done, and now you're coming back into this thing saying, Kyle, I'm trying to get back on my feet. What do I need to do? I'm telling you guys right now, this is the shit you could do. Whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, it doesn't fucking matter. Either way, you're that guy. I will be this guy until I fucking die. I don't care if I'm in a relationship or if I'm not in a relationship. I will be this guy until I die. I have it tattooed on my fucking head. Amor fati. It means love of one's fate. All right. It means I'm dedicated to the journey. regardless of what's going on, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of what the fuck is going on in the day-to-day. I'm committed to being the guy. Let's move into the final point, and maybe even the most shocking, controversial point out of the whole video that could lower the girl's attraction towards you, which is number 6, you live with her. This is going to trigger some people for sure, and that's okay, right? But understand this, guys. If you live with the girl and you are always with this woman and she is always there, it is really hard to crave something that is always there. Now, again, I am not saying that you can't live with the girl. I am not even saying that I will never live with a girl. There may come a point in my life that I will live with a girl. I don't know. But I'm also telling you, understand that if you live with the girl, the attraction is not as high as it could be, because you will see a lot of things between the two of you guys that you'll experience a lot of times, and the girl will have a lot of influence over you indirectly that will try to steer you away from some of these things, guys. I promise you, it's all coming together in point number 6. Everything I talked about in this video ties into the idea of point number 6. It's almost like all of these elements put into the ultimate test, because now you're stuck with this person in the same living environment consistently every day, where you're either going to be tested, the girl's going to try to influence you poorly, she may tell you to not go to the gym, she may tell you she wants to eat this cheat meal, and some of you guys, you already struggle to hold your own discipline by yourself. Now just imagine you have a second person who isn't fueled by testosterone, who isn't trying to live out your purpose, and they just want you to spend more and more time with them, which if the girl's attracted to you, she's going to want you around a lot. A lot of you dudes think you want a girl heavily attracted to you until you realize what the fuck that looks like. It's not necessarily as enjoyable as you think, honestly. Okay, so you have a lot of outside influence trying to steer you against the path that you're trying to go. And that's a lot of times why a dude who just got single or just went through a heartbreak, he's in a great position to level up. He's got all the motivation, all the free time in the world, and all the desire he needs to like leverage himself. But it's the dudes that are actually like living with girls or spending a lot of time with women. Now you're going to be really, really tested here. Most of you dudes are going to fucking fail this shit or fuck it up to one extent or another. I know I have tremendously. I don't currently live with my girlfriend, by the way. There was a point in time where we lived in the same building together. In my opinion, I still think that was too close. It was pretty much like we were living together just on like, a different floor of the house. I still felt like it was a little too close for at least for where I'm at in my life right now. Now, look, if you're a dude who wants a family, you want a wife, can I live together, Kyle? Now you got me fucked up in the head. No, you still can, but just understand, you want to do whatever you can to create separation throughout your day-to-day life. And it ties back to you being able to be on top of your purpose, your own journey, your self-development journey. You need to create time away from the woman. You need to create time away from the woman, and it's a good thing. And I'm not trying to say it in like some toxic way, guys. I'm saying be the leader. Be on top of your self-development shit. Don't get so consumed with TV, movies, video games. Don't let another person outwork you. There's nobody I know outworking me that's in my day-to-day life. Maybe there's a couple influencers that are going slightly harder than me, and I strive to be at their level, and that's the goal I'm shooting for. But I don't know too many people that are working harder than me, or is more aligned in their day-to-day life about the person they want to become. My life, my routine, the things I'm doing, it is very, very dialed, aligned, and structured in the direction that I want to go. But if you're a dude who wants a family, you want a wife, you want a happy household, that kind of a guy, nothing wrong with that. No disrespect at all. What I'm saying is create a lifestyle, though, that you can still go out and do your own thing. You still need to either go to a job, or you go to a work office, or you go somewhere where you have brothers, you have a tribe, you have people in place that you can also communicate with outside of just your girl and the family. The woman is great. Feminine nature and energy is great. It really is, when you know how to lead it and structure it properly. But at the same time, it's not that thing the whole time. You're gonna need your own time to do your own shit. Look, you wanna be with the girl and every night you come home to your wife? Great, man. All the more power to you. That's completely fine. But just understand that you need space. And for where I'm at right now in my own path and my own journey, I don't think it makes sense to actually live with the girl, okay? And again, I'm not saying that I won't ever do it, but I'm just talking about my own philosophy on where I'm at in my journey, what I'm trying to build, and the things I want for right now. I notice personally that when I have more separation from my girl, and we still communicate on a daily basis, but when I have more separation from my girl and I'm more dialed in with my work and stuff, I just need my own fucking space. That's just how it is. And when I have a couple days to go back and connect with my girl throughout the week, it just feels fresh. It feels fresh. I feel like I miss her more. I'm craving her a little bit more. We have a lot more to talk about. We cherish each other's time together more because of the distance and the separation. And that's the lifestyle and the mindset that I'm currently in. Again, no judgment for the dudes who don't want that. No judgment for the dudes who don't even want a relationship. And also no judgment for the dudes who want a marriage and a happy family. Guys, it's all preference. But I'm just telling you what I've gone through so you could understand for yourself, because there's a lot of dudes that they don't have this info. I never had this info. I don't know another fucking video on YouTube that talks about these concepts. And I just feel like it's an injustice if I don't put this out into the world so you guys could at least take it for what it is. If you agree, great. If it aligns, great. If not, it's all good too. But those are the 6 surprising or shocking things that if you're talking to a girl or you start dating a girl, these things can result in loss of attraction. So please be aware of these things, guys. If you want to create higher levels of attraction with your girl or create the social life and dating life you always wanted, I can fucking help you with that. If it's not obvious yet by the end of this video, I can help you with that, man. Click the link in the description, book out a consultation call so we can discuss more details about your situation, and I can show you the step-by-step process to work with me personally to achieve your goals with women in dating. That's all for this video. Let's fucking go.